welcome to the Reflection Show with me, Martha Inspired. It is important for us to actively underline, involve women and girls in decision making. It is not always just saying that the girls, we were planning this for you, we are planning that for you. Even when women are given the opportunity, I believe that sometimes our young girls can be involved in such meetings so that we can understand the processes because you wouldn't be there forever and we need to understand what it means to also live. Today we'll be having a conversation with Inspire to Act, an NGO based here in Tamale and also in the northern region that is spearheading the HEAD project, making sure that every woman, girl, as far as you're a female, you are given the opportunity to unearth your potential, to unearth your talent, to become that amazing young woman you are supposed to be. We'll be delving more into the conversation. Stay tuned. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. I am Martha Inspires. Growing up, it was so difficult finding answers to all the questions that bothered my young mind. As soon as I found my purpose and understood my mandate, I made it a mission to answer as many questions as possible, bothering young people. I have mentored, inspired, and helped young people unearth their potentials through the Martha Inspires Foundation. However, I feel it is time to bring the conversation much closer to you. We have you in mind, you the young person. With my team of experts, we bring to you the Reflection Show, a show that focuses on addressing issues young people face, helping them to unearth their potentials, and giving them nothing but the best avenues in helping them solve issues that they may face in their young age. Join me, Martha Inspires, every Thursday and Saturday at 8:30 p.m. on Truth TV, the Reflection Show, restoring hopes. Welcome back from the break. I'll be speaking with Alhaji Abdul Rashid Imoro. He is the Executive Director, and Madam Imoro Munifatu, she's the Project Manager, and Madam Faiza Swalisu, also a youth leader, all from Inspire to Act ITA. You can get them on social media, Inspire to Act, and follow all their activities. Currently, they are spearheading the HEAD project in partnership with NORSAC, heard everywhere and represented daily. I like the fact that they have added daily. So we are asking or advocating for women to be heard everywhere, whether in their homes, wherever they have to be. Everywhere, when I say everywhere, everywhere. And we need effective women representation daily in the parliament, in our schools, in our communities. We are saying that every woman needs to be heard adequately. Thank you so much for joining me, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yes. So going straight to the point, let me start with Alaji. Tell us about your hedge project and also the maybe briefly or also delving into what you have seen on the field about women's participation or women's perspective on women's party. I don't know if you understand my
Yeah,
what do
women's
women
perspective
think?
on
Yes,
leadership.
yes, and all that.
Okay, thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to be here
Thank
again
you for
this morning.
coming.
Yeah, to have this very discussion because it's an issue that borders on our heart at Inspire to Act. And then we are glad that NORSAC, who is funding this project, gave us Inspire to Act the opportunity to be part of 5 technical implementing partners who are implementing this project across the northern regions. Because this it is in the northern region, it's in the upper east, and it's in the upper west
Wow.
regions, implemented by different technical partners.
Partners.
Now, on our everyday work, based on what the head is seeking to do, you will notice that we have very fine policies that support women and girls' participation in decision making and leadership. We have very fine commitments from the government of Ghana, signing up to international treaties, international policies to promote effective participation of women and girls in decision making at all levels.
Okay.
However, the situation is not the case on the ground. You still go into our district assemblies, committees, and you have very less women participation. You still go into our parliament, and there's still very low women participation. And so we thought that this is an issue that still needed attention. And so when NOSAG came out with this beautiful project head, and we were, like I mentioned earlier, we are so glad that we are part of it. And we are working our all to ensure that at the end of the project, all of us put together are trying to reach 30,000 women, membership-based groups. Now, when we are talking about membership-based group, we are not looking at already established women exposed group. We are trying to unearth women membership groups at the community level.
Okay.
Because they say change should start at the grassroots. And then, so we are taking the bottom-up approach to ensure that when we empower women at the grassroots level, then they will be able to what? Come up with it. And then already when they come to meet people like you who are already at the upper level and you are exposed and empowered, then the force to push for women and girls participation will become what? Very stronger.
Okay.
You would notice that because at the grassroots level we do not have that group of women and girls having adequate skills, having adequate knowledge, having adequate resources to be able to push for their equal representation. When you start it from the top and you go down, then they discourage you.
True.
But the way you expect them to embrace it, to take advantage of it, then they tend out to tell you that, no, do you think we can do it? I don't think, I'm afraid. And then you get disappointed and you may not be motivated again to take up any other initiative. That's why I'm happy about the head project, trying to start the bottom-up approach, building capacities of women membership organizations at the grassroots level to ensure that they have the knowledge, they have the skills, and they have the financial and capacity. Because when we come to talk more about the challenges, that makes it difficult for women. You will see that some of these issues I'm mentioning will feature in a lot more. No, so I'm happy that we are trying to take care of those challenges at the bottom, so that when they are more powered and when they are more resourceful, we would be able to overcome that canker of low women representation, of low women participation, and low voices of women in our decision-making processes.
All right. I'll come back to you on that. Let me come to you, our project manager. Going on the field, what are some of the things you see when it comes to women participation? Or what do you even think as you have begun the implementation? Are their minds changing from how you met them and how are they now? I've seen activity pictures on your social media platform, and I can see that you are really engaging the women. I think it's been like about 7-8 months since that you began implementing this project. How were they, when you met them? Did some feel that, hey, I can't do A, but now how are they thinking? Like general perspective on women's participation.
Thank you very much once again, Martha Spice. We are glad to be here again. Speaking about the field experience and how we have been engaging the women and the youths on the field, it has been so inspiring because when you meet someone for the first time with a particular mission, and then you come back on the second time and you have seen some improvements, it makes you feel so happy. So I'm very glad that you've asked this question because we've just finished our joint monitoring visits with the other partners that Alhaj has mentioned. That has to do with NOYED, Songtaba, right, SIF and ITA with our donor, which is NOSAG. We did a joint monitoring visit and we had the opportunity to visit all our partners at their implementation areas. So we had so many conversations with the project constituents, and then they shared with us how the project has impacted their lives, and it was so inspiring. one thing I can make reference to is when we went to Savulugu. That was the Noyed area of
Area
site.
yeah.
So the women there were so happy about the project. They even made it so lovely, such a way. When we just stepped in, they said that they have their slogan that they always say. And when you hear it, you'll be happy.
Wow.
They just said, Katiye Dura. Then they all respond, Kabanyarti. It resonates with the head.
Wow.
This
But that's in the
process,
local
in
dialect.
the local dialect.
Great.
So you could
To say that then our voices are up and
Okay,
then they
And
recognize us.
we
they
are being
seen,
recognized. Okay.
Yes.
So the women there were sharing their experiences as it has improved them, and we're very lucky to have the assemblyman in their forum when we
Great.
got there. So they mentioned to us that when the head project came to them, they weren't aware of the fact that as a woman, you can also have the opportunity to be part of decision making.
Wow.
They didn't know until the head project came. So they were exposed to the laws, the government policies that gives women the chances to participate in decision making. And some of the women also mentioned that even though they didn't know that they could have done that, but because of it has broadened their thinking, their perspective. And one thing they were afraid of was the fact that they don't have the educational background that could support them, even if they have the interest to go for leadership. But we made them to understand that it's not just about being educated. Even the layman in the community could also come out to participate for any leadership position. If you go into parliament and you can't even speak English, your local dialect, and the English language, you can feel free to express yourself in the local dialect. It is the responsibility of the parliament to get an interpreter to interpret whatever you are communicating for everybody to understand. So they were very much happy about the head project and how it has affected them positively.
I'm glad there is change, because sometimes, you implement a project, and if you don't take time, it looks like you are just the only one writing the success stories. But it feels so good when, especially when you're actually going with donors or partners, and as they are arriving, they themselves, they see let me say, the evidence of what they are funding. You don't even have to talk much for that an extension. Yes, as a youth leader, what can you say about young women in decision making? We are privileged to now have some sort of education other than what they might not really have, I mean, from the women's perspective. But do you think that we still understand our role to lead? Are we shy? I keep saying that the late Madame Ikuya Donko was my role model. And I say that because she has this kind of audacity that I think that I'm even yet to get, even though I feel that I've gone to school and all that. Yes, she had attended some forums, and like you said, they had to get people to interpret what Madame Ekuya Donkor was saying. And she has sat in rooms you and I have not sat in those rooms. So that alone is also an example sometimes I personally use, for other people. Let's forget politics. But I believe she's a good example we can, use when we go on the field and challenge the other women, but only encouraging them that if she had education with her boldness, she could have probably done better. So now that we have education as young women, I'm limiting that because you are a youth leader. We have education. Do you think we are still lacking in confidence and other things? And what are some of the things you've seen on the field?
Okay, so thank you so much for this opportunity, and thank you so much, Martha and Spice. I want to say that in as much as we've had beautiful policies and the kind of education that we want as young people, there is still a gap. So for example, the gap that I'm talking about is we have beautiful crafted policies, but how is it able to relate to us in a language that we, the young people, can understand? So first of all, understanding of key policies, especially policies with regards to young people, especially young women participation in decision making is a problem. So before then, I didn't take a critical look at the national gender policies and also the Affirmative Action Act. I was hearing it, although I was
But you
advocating
never-
for it, but I didn't take my time to actually.
You're advocating for something you don't
Yeah,
know
exactly.
about. But it's true. I
Yeah,
think a lot
exactly.
of us are
A
just
lot of us,
follow.
Exactly. We are just like, although we hear about it, we hear them speak on on TV
Yes.
about it. But however, taking a critical look at the key policies and what it stands for
We
is something that
don't.
we don't. So I think that it's a challenge on the part because the key policies that are being crafted to shape our
Us, yeah.
yes, to shape us in also participating in decision making is not well understood. Another thing that I would say is that we don't have a common platform that brings women together to share some of the challenges they are facing, especially in participation in decision making. So, for example, we know that if a woman wants to go in for a leadership position, there's not a platform that a young girl, maybe in the senior high school or in the university, can have a platform where the person can learn about the electoral processes. If I want to be an MP, what do I need to do? What are some of the things that I need to, learn before I'll be able to get there? So it's a challenge. And another thing is that we still have this social cultural norms that impedes women participation in decision making. In as much as civilization has come to stand, we've had a lot of educating our community members on stereotypes, the need for women to see women
Yeah.
as also like let's say those who can lead. But we still have, there are certain communities and then like where we are coming from, we still have we still hold our
Our
I don't-
culture and our
culture in a high,
beliefs,
yeah,
in a high
exactly,
esteem.
Even
exactly,
culture.
yes.
Yeah.
So for
Yeah,
so for example, you come from our in a home where your parents would decide for you. So for example, starting from your educational level, the parents would decide this is the course I want you to do this. For example, myself like this, when I was going to senior high school, I wanted to read general art. However, my uncle told me that general art is not for ladies. Like general art, if you are a lady and you do it, you become you are too knowing.
Hey.
Yeah, so you have to go for home economics. Home economics is just for ladies, females.
Hey.
You
That one
see-
you not be too knowing.
Exactly. So you see, because of this cultural perspective that we are still having within our communities, it impedes we the young people still having access to opportunities to vying for leadership positions.
Alaji, as a man, are you not threatened? Do you think that the men that, are there, we're always doing women empowerment? At Martha Inspires Foundation, we have begun a boys empowerment program. I don't know if you had seen it around, and people kept asking. I'm like, okay, now we've heard you. We have also begun. But are you not threatened that we are just talking about, women, and then when NOSA called you, they still said women? Like, how did you feel going to the communities? What are the responses? Are the husbands of these women and the fathers or brothers of these young women, how do they feel about this whole project and even the activities that you implement?
I think that gradually men are coming to appreciate that an empowered man is a man with a powerful woman,
Wow.
or an empowered
Wow.
woman by her.
Wow.
Men have gradually come to appreciate
accept
this,
that.
and many of them are taking steps to ensure that they get their girls to be empowered,
Great.
and they also get their wives or women to get all the opportunities that they desire in life. Now, for me, I don't get frightened because as when I look at the balance, I still see that it's still tilted towards men. A lot of the opportunities that we have in both the informal and formal
Formal
sector
sector.
still goes in favor of men. When you have a set of groups, group for a particular action, you would find more men
Okay.
than women. And the question I always ask is, why not more women than
Than
men?
men.
So I have set that example in my organization, and she will tell you, they outnumber us. When you enter from the reception, you would just see that, you would ask yourself, are they men in this office? Because we have more
Yeah,
women
men than
in the
men.
organization than men. And it's because of my resolve, my belief that an empowered society, an empowered organization is the one that has brilliant women to support the cause. And I have believed these things from my other employment,
Yeah.
where I always want to push
Women.
for all women that are working with me to be at the right point as I am. Because for me, the issue of equality does not mean that we are physically all strong and the same.
Exactly.
And that's the misunderstanding a lot of our communities have.
About
I was
women
in one
yes.
community and in one of our activities, and there was this woman whose student said that the reason why they are afraid to be part of some of these programs is that when they go home, now their husbands will be looking for trouble with them to see whether when they came,
Okay.
we told them to
that
come
they
and
should challenge their
to
husband.
challenge
come
it.
and challenge them. And she made the husband to know that no, all that they discussed with us were things that we can do to become better, to be able to support you to become better. And the husband was excited.
Wow.
And if you look at some of the assessments we did with some of the women groups and the youth groups we work with, a lot of them were very honest to say that, look, we knew about existing policies that could help us, but like Faisal was saying, we didn't know the detail of it, of how we can take action to be full beneficiaries of the policy. Because what we are doing is that we are facilitating, as an technical implementing partner to the HEAD project, we are only facilitating the process for women and youth to be empowered to take the action. So we will not take the action for them, but we are facilitating the process so that when they know that they have the right, and they know that apart from the fact that I have the right to petition the district assembly on issues regarding my community, regarding our participation, these are the processes, these are the channels I can follow to ensure that I get the district assembly to serve them my petition. And if my petition is not worked on, these are other things I can do. Now, just quite recently, you were on the street in the HEAD project, inspired to act, mobilize young women, and they stormed the Tamale Ababu market.
Wow.
Just with placards calling for increased women representation. And so it offered them an opportunity to interact directly with women. And you know, sometimes they didn't, one beautiful thing I loved about what they did was that they didn't call the women to come to them, because ordinarily they wouldn't leave their savings to come. So they walked to them.
Going to them yourselves.
And did the education with them. And if you see the photos and the smiles in the faces of some of the women, because they were learning about things that ordinarily they didn't know. So for me, I think that it is about time, all of us as men who have dominated for too long, to try and give an opportunity of a little bit of our dominance. You know, the fear of men like us is that, you know, you don't empower someone without losing power.
Exactly.
As soon as you are empowering someone,
you are losing it.
You are losing some part of your power. And that's what they are afraid to
that's
do.
The fear.
Exactly.
That's the
they
fear.
want to continue to hold on to that power. And so they are so afraid that if the capacity of women are built and women are given the needed support, then they would come to take over their power. But I said, have you not held that power for too long? Don't you think it is time to even give it up and say that, okay, let me feel how it is to be on the receiving side? Until we are able to achieve that, men will not appreciate what it feels to keep women at the bottom. But I'm telling you that we are getting there gradually, especially with young ones like Pfizer and Co. taking the lead. And that's the beautiful thing about the HEAD project also. They have not allowed the organizations to take the lead. They say empower the women membership groups to take the lead in mobilizing their peers. So I wanted to spend the money. Most people want to hold the budget, but she's compelled to rather give the budget to them,
to the young people,
to be the ones, because the moment you do that, then you are exposing their leadership skills, and you are even giving them an opportunity to showcase that they have the skills to do it, and that when they are given the opportunity, they can do more. And when they do that and they lead the women membership groups in the organization, they get inspired.
Yeah.
Because it is not a big stomach man like me
Yeah.
coming to tell them again, and they know that it's coming
True.
from a man. But it is a beautiful woman like them
Yeah.
who are coming to them and telling them that, look, we are doing it and you can
Do it, yeah.
And so it challenges them to become more empowered, to step beyond their fear and to take the necessary action that would allow their voices and their representation to be there. Remember, there's this common saying that women are their own enemies. So now we are trying to kill
Their
that.
own helpers. Those who
want
are
to turn
enemies
it-
are demons. We the angels.
So now we are turning it into women are
Yes.
their own helpers.
Yes.
So now you will find
We are our
young
own
women,
helpers.
young women leading the way, leading the
True.
process to tell their fellow women that, look, together we can do it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think it has to do with character and not just, about the gender.
Exactly.
Yes.
There could be some men who would also hate you as much as possible, who will
Exactly.
make your empowerment and your, climbing up to the next ladder very difficult. Let's count them. Some men would want to sleep with you. Some men wouldn't want to give you some of their dominance.
Yeah.
Some men just want you, the woman, to just be behind them. It has to do with character.
Yeah.
There are lots of women who have, supported me in my journey. The last time I was telling some friends that I think my life is a seed.
Yeah.
Some people have been the water, some people have been the sunlight, some people have been those who come and weed the weeds around me to make
keep
sure
you
that
going.
to keep me going. And all of these people, I can't say they are all men.
No.
Some have been women.
Yeah.
Some have been great women, older women, colleagues, even younger women. So I'm just happy that this agenda is coming up about women really helping and then all that. So let me come back to you as the youth leader.
Okay.
This thing about women are their own enemies thing, kind of thing, in like within yourselves, how do you manage? Of course, we are human beings, things would naturally come up, not because we are just women, but how do you, even within ourselves, there's sometimes a bit of dominance.
Exactly.
Somebody could be like, hey, why did Alaji approve Faiza to be our youth leader? Somebody would be like, no, why did they approve this to happen and all that? So how are those things handled to make sure that you do not lose focus? For me, that is always the thing.
Yeah.
The petty issues come up, and if you're not lucky, you lose focus.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The agenda is that increase women participation in decision making everywhere. How do you overcome the distractions and keep focus?
Yeah, so for me, I would just say that to touch a bit on the question, I want to share briefly about an engagement I had with some key ministers of parliament, the female parliamentarians. So we had an engagement with them, and you know that currently we have 40 women. Okay, parliament is closed now, so we had previously 40 women representing us in parliament, and recently when they had their parliament primaries to contest for the next election, most of them lose to their seat. So that means that probably we might be having less than 40 women in parliament. So there was a question that I asked one of the female parliamentarians, that why is it that usually, and you know that women, we constitute majority of the population in Ghana, why is it that we don't get other women to support them? And I also threw a question to them that at least having 40 women in parliament, it should have been a responsibility to at least mentor one young person or one woman to also take up a position.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you have 40, and out of the 40, we are able to get each and every one of them to mentor one person to also contest for. Exactly.
Replacement.
So that means that we would have been the number would have kept on increasing. However, they are losing to their seat. And some of the remarks that comes from the community members is that they are lazy, they are not working, they are this. That is just the reason why. And you see that, for example, one of the female parliamentarians went to a market, and the women were hooting at her. So instead of her to be supported, they are rather hooting at her. So I asked myself, why is it that they are hooting at her?
Yeah.
You see, so she will have in mind that, oh, they say women, we are all our own enemies, we are jealous. But however, did you put in your maximum best to get the support from the woman?
Well, that could even come from
Exactly.
both sides.
Both.
Also because maybe
Yes.
the kind of help they expect might not necessarily be the kind of
Exactly.
help she's able to give.
Exactly.
Because help is relative.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Uh-huh.
So, however, when you are a leader, especially when you are a female leader, the society expects so much of us. That means that you have to even work double to entice the people like a man would do. However, what you need to do is that you just need to be yourself. You try to move people along. So in this case, if you are moving people along, you have cordial relationship with people. There are lots of times that people are saying that when a woman is in power, she doesn't regard anyone. That is just it. And I have also witnessed certain, like a lot of time when I want to get closer to a woman and she treats me in some way, that draws me back. So in this case, subsequently, if you need a support from me, there's no way. I'll not even come closer to you again. So sometimes it's about the attitude of the leaders, the female leaders that we choose, or the female leaders who are into certain positions that rather like make it look like they are not
Welcoming.
they are not welcoming.
I think
other
that
females.
sometimes let's not always also blame the leaders
Yes.
because the followers have way higher expectations.
Exactly.
And when you are not, I know of a leader, a man who people said certain negative things about me. Those things I just hear and I move on. And one day he was talking about the same issue. And do you know why? Because the person came to him that he's going to marry a third wife and wanted the man to buy him bags of rice
How?
and other things. And the man, couldn't support him. And he went around saying that the man is stingy. And the man is saying, I have just one wife.
And I want
You are going to marry a third wife, and you want
That should
that.
be your
So this
problem.
person like this will go around saying that, oh, maybe this man is stingy, this man is and those people, the way they can dent your reputation.
Seriously.
So I think that from certain experiences, from people and personally,
Exactly.
I have grown to the point that I do not take hearsays
Exactly.
because being in a leadership position in its own is tough. Being a woman, you naturally have battles that you have to face.
Exactly.
So having to face all those battles and having to, for example, I can come and give both of you water. She will appreciate and you will not appreciate it.
Yes.
So sometimes let's not necessarily blame the women. Especially if they are in parliament, sometimes the lobbying, especially if their party is not in, it can be a very big, difficult thing.
Yeah.
People have different expectations and things. So yeah, there are some who are not actually not
They are
working.
not.
They are there.
No matter. I think
No,
that
I have one example
Okay.
to show. So that was last 2023 when the finance minister was reading the last budget. We were in parliament advocating for the scrapping of the taxes
Yeah,
from sanitary
yeah.
pad. Yes. So we were there. We had wanted to even meet some of the female parliamentarians because we were actually there. As of 7:30, we were there. And then we could see that around 9, they were moving in
Yeah.
the parliamentarians. So we were expecting that unless we could get some of the female. So the coordinator was actually on board trying to see if she can target
Get
some of
them.
the females. We actually stood there. We had Honorable Suso Xavier coming to support, taking the plaque, signing. We had other honorable ministers coming around. We couldn't get one female. Actually, when they finished reading the budget, we were outside, and then one female parliamentarian, I think she's from the central region, said, "What are you people still doing here? They have scrapped over the tax. Go home. Remove the red." So, I was actually pissed because, listening to what the minister submitted, they were actually trying to scrap off locally manufactured products.
Yeah.
Not the entire.
Entire,
So that means that even she herself sitting inside that room, she wasn't
understand.
taking what conscious effort.
She wasn't
to-
probably
yeah.
paying attention.
She wasn't paying
Oh
attention.
yeah. All right. Yeah.
But
Alaji.
what I just wanted to say is that sometimes we are blaming women for no reason.
Yes.
We give men have positions and we think they deserve it. Women get positions and we behave like we have given them
A
we have
privilege.
made them a favor.
Yeah.
And so until we get rid of that stereotype, we are never going to appreciate what
Yes,
women
women
leaders
do.
do.
True.
Because we would vote them and we now think that and look at
I
we
put you
just
there.
gave you this and now look at how, but the man is doing worse and we are not seeing
Exactly.
Saying it,
it. So for
exactly.
me, I think that we need to also look at our mindset
The
of
way-
what we are already
yeah.
expecting to see. You see, when you are expecting that when we give her, she was going to do this. You will see it.
Or
Even when it's not happening. They said,
Yeah.
have you seen Martha pass? She didn't even greet us.
Yes.
Do
Look.
you know what is in her mind?
Oh,
But when it happens with the man, they see it to be normal.
Yes.
Normal,
And so
exactly.
for me, I think that the challenge still exists with us.
Yeah.
Seeing and thinking that when we give women positions, they do not perform because we always have the perception and expectation that we have done them a favor. But let no one think that we are doing women favor when they are in positions.
Yeah.
They are there on merit. And until we begin to recognize that they are there on merit, we will begin to have challenges with the
With
way
them,
they work.
yeah.
And let me tell you something about that. Maybe if you had investigated further, you would have known that it is the men who have kept the women away.
Yeah.
You come to my house, you will see me, you won't see my wife. Why is she? She's busy working in the kitchen. And so the family will think that she has refused to come and greet them.
Yes.
But I have come to
How
greet
to
them.
greet them.
So it is now left with me to be honest to say that no, look, she's not here because she's busy
yeah.
doing this. She's breastfeeding a baby, and you know you get it. So until men begin to appreciate
Yeah.
that they need to support women
Women.
in the process
will not be
to be
able to.
successful, we will begin to think that when women have opportunity, they can't even deliver.
Yeah.
We will
Yeah.
always continue to think that they don't even deserve it because the last one we gave it didn't do well.
But people are different. Women are different.
Exactly.
It won't
And I'll
always-
even tell you that
Yeah.
if you look at our cultures,
Before we delve into culture, it's a whole perspective I want us to delve in. Let's
Okay.
take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We are looking at women give us the opportunity to lead. And when you give us the opportunity, don't think that you've done us a favor. And then so some people cry, you can't even miss their calls again. When you mistakenly miss their calls, they'll be like, I mean now she's gotten to the position. So she's now missing calls. But when I didn't have the position, probably I didn't have to wake up to attend meetings at 7 a.m. I didn't have to travel to schools or communities or whatever for what's the name when they're having speech and prize giving, the schools are inviting me, people are having what's it outdooring, they are inviting me, funerals I have to attend, the community. So I may not be certainly available as much as I used to be, and I have to still take care of my husband and my kids. If I don't get time, that's why you would still now go out and say educated women don't have time for their home. So when we don't make enough time for you, don't blame us. Don't bore us. We are just trying to serve you properly. Let me come to you on the culture perspective. Do you think it plays a major role in giving us, we women, an opportunity to lead?
Okay, thank you very much once again. With regards to our culture and how it impacts our lives in terms of leadership as women, it's one of the reasons why we see more of women not really participating in most of the decision-making process. For example, I always want to make reference to the field experience I have been having when we did the monitoring. We asked the women what could be their reason for not participating, even when it is not at the national level. The project is about everywhere. So it could be at your home,
Yes.
your community. What are some of the reasons that you think might have caused you not to actively involve yourself? So they stood up and said, when as a woman in a community, if you always want to make an impact or put yourself in any of the decisions that is going on within, they'll say you are a woman, you are not supposed to talk, especially in family meetings. Whenever there's a convening in the family to discuss something relating to the family, the women are always not talking. And the reason is that they are not supposed to talk. They are always to keep quiet and listen as the men will talk. And then whatever that has been decided, they will take it and go. So the society and the normal things that has been happening within the society makes it difficult for them to participate. And also, they also mentioned that they will see you as nothing. The society see women as nothing. You have nothing to offer. So all these things, societal norms, is making the women not actively participating. And one thing we also believe is that fact that you have a lot to take care of as a woman. So because of that, you are limited. So personally, if I'm a woman, like for instance, I'm a woman and I am married and I've been limited, my concentration will be more on my limitation because I don't want to step over my boundaries. Because you have been guided, you have been caved. So you feel that you are not supposed to step out of your bounds. You are supposed to stay within boundaries. So that is how the society has made it to be. And that is why it is time for us to make ourselves enlightened about the fact that we are not supposed to be caved. We are supposed to open up and have and access these opportunities that are available to us as women so that we can be able to participate effectively in the society.
Okay.
I want to say that, I don't know, I always have difficulty agreeing that it's a culture thing. Because when it's culture, it means that we have all agreed and we are doing it. But I'm thinking that it is more of a practice.
Yeah.
Because even among our localities, you go into certain homes and it's a different thing. I am from the locality, I'm a Dagomba man. And most of these things we are seeing here are from Dagomba homes. And in my home, it's a different thing. So would you say it's a culture or you would say it's a practice? A practice that favors men. And so they want to promote it like a culture. A practice that favors men. And they want to promote it like it's our way of life. Because culture means it's our accepted way of life. But it is not. It is just a practice among some men. And because it is in their favor, they feel that no, I need to push it. The caramba, you can't do this. But then when you push them further to ask them which of our folk laws guarantees them that, they cannot tell you. So if you don't want the woman to have a voice in the family meeting, then why do you ask the woman to cook for you? Because that food is a big whole decision she's making.
True.
How to bring in what to make sure that when you get the food, it is palatable for you to eat and enjoy. You get it?
Yeah.
We have forgotten that we have given them that opportunity to take that bigger decision. But then when it comes to the things that would empower them, we say it's culture. Where? We came from where? It is just our own. And the late Chief Alassane would always say that we interpret the religion to favor our needs. So when it favors us, we say the religion says this. We say the culture says this. But when it does not favor us, then we don't want to talk about it. Look at our chiefdoms. Our chiefs, the homes of our chiefs. The most powerful people are their wives. The most powerful
ones
people
are their wives.
In every chief's home is the wives.
Yeah.
Every decision they make, they consult them, especially the first wife. That's how much of power our culture, our real culture, is giving to women to have a say in and to have their voice in decision making. But then because of the other things, when you have, if I give you the opportunity to speak, and then there's a confusion between us, and you have to speak, they will see that I was at fault.
Yeah.
So what do? I need to create that opportunity that does not give you a voice.
True.
So we keep using that physique that God has given us to continue to intimidate women
Yeah.
in our practice, not our culture. So we have a lot of stereotypes, and the stereotypes, most of them go to say, and it's because of what we ourselves have made women to go through. If the woman is the one cooking, she's the one taking care of the children, and you, the man, you are not making any effort to help the woman go through this, and you expect the woman to be as efficient as possible in another role she's
Yeah.
been given in the community, master, you won't get it.
True.
So, by our practice, we have seen that continuing to dominate women and making them vulnerable favors us as men. So, we continue to ensure that. That's why I was saying that sometimes I don't blame women when they even come to meetings late. Because the same husband who is coming to the same meeting with them at the community level has given her a task.
True.
And saying that,
If you are not done
You're
with
done
the
with it,
work, don't
don't
stay.
leave.
Yeah, come out.
and he comes to the point to say, I told you already, give the things to men. You have given it to her. Have you seen her? You get the problem. So we are living our life in such a way that we continue to put women on the ground beneath us to continue because that's the only way we feel we can dominate them.
Yeah.
But that's why we are saying that women rise up. Rise up and fight for your rights. Rise up and demand your rightful places in decision making. Otherwise, nobody can.
Yeah.
I can only give you information. I can only give you opportunities. I can give you resources. But the decision to take your rightful position in decision making and representation lies with you.
Yeah.
We went to the Sanago District Assembly and they invited some women representatives in their committees to share their experiences about the benefits of being part of the the District Assembly. And one woman was saying that, look, now her husband is the one championing for her.
Wow.
Because apart from the fact that she's there, she's also a leader in one of the political parties.
Wow.
And so anytime they are sharing resources in the political party, she gets some to take home. And that the husband cannot remember the last time he bought a bag of rice to put at home for food.
Wow.
Is that not helping the family?
That is helping.
So men, we are only doing ourselves favor when we empower women. We are not losing anything.
True.
We are only helping ourselves when we make sure that our women have the right kind of opportunities, are also in positions that can bring resources and food to our homes. We are only ensuring that we are saving money for the bigger responsibilities of the family.
Yeah.
We're in the Kamvli community doing sensitization, and then the old men were just looking at the young women and there were nurses who were invited to the program. And I asked one old man, why are they all just looking? That they are just
That they are young ladies, so they are
they
beautiful.
are young professional women.
Okay.
That look at her because they are young professional
Young
women.
women,
They are
look at
just
her, beautiful.
they are glowing. And I said, why do you think they are glowing? I said, what they are working and they are making money. So they are able to take care of themselves and they can glow. And I said, this is the thing we are talking about: women participation,
Yeah.
women representation, women empowerment. We are saying that when you empower them, they will glow. And what do
Yeah.
you think if one of them is your wife? That they will eat good food all the
Yeah.
time. Did you get it?
Yeah.
And you would have children who would get the right kind of support to learn.
Yeah. True.
Did you get it? And so I want to stand on this platform and to appeal to my fellow men that, look, we don't lose that much when we ensure that we empower the women and we empower our girls to have the right knowledge, to have the right resources, to be able to have their voices heard, to be able to get their representation right. And if you are a man, it is cowardice to stop your woman who is interested in running for public office.
Okay.
What are you afraid of? Now, tell me, what are you afraid of? And you do not want your wife to go in for a public office. What have you done wrong at home, in the family, that you are saying, like Bonifa was saying, that they should not talk about in the family meeting?
Yeah.
What have you done wrong? It means that when this thing continues, it only means that men have continued to be unfair to women, and we do not want to give them the right platform
Yeah.
to air these things. And
Okay.
and I want to conclude on this issue by saying that there's no way, I don't know for any culture, but there's no way in my culture
That's
that says that women should not be allowed to share their opinion in family meetings. Women should not be allowed to share their opinion in political platforms. There's no place in the Dagbani culture that says that women cannot run for positions in leadership. There's no.
yeah.
And I was glad that I attended the program last week, and there were women chiefs. And there were women chiefs, women revered chiefs in the program, and so it beautified the program. So I'm just standing here, and maybe what we may have to do, Nifa, is for us to also try and see in our
Okay.
next appearance
Yeah.
here, where if we can get an opportunity to bring some of these women chiefs
Yeah.
to showcase them to our society. There are still many the women who do not believe that we have
Women
women
chiefs,
chiefs.
yeah.
They don't know, but they don't know our culture.
Yeah,
And so, what
yeah.
are they practicing?
Yeah.
That's why I said they are
That's
not
true.
practicing our culture. They don't know our culture. I mentioned that when I say, Tondena, that which, and she said,
That community has a woman
and that
chief.
she's a chief of which town. And I said, you don't know, go and ask. There are many towns in the Dagbon Kingdom
That
with
has women chiefs. Yeah.
If you don't know,
Okay.
go and learn your culture.
Let me take our final words. We don't have, I think our time is exhausted.
Yeah.
So let me start with you, then I'll come to Bonifa. Your final words on anything we've discussed.
Yeah, so actually, when Alaji was speaking, that there's no like any culture that like the Dagmani culture that actually impedes women, impedes or prevents women from participating in decision making. So, for example, I don't know from the context, I wanted to disagree lightly with him. However, like when I was in the university, UDS, I had wanted to run for FRC president. So within my space, the friends that I was having, the guys was like, I lose me. Like when you go for it, you lose because you woman that you are trying to contest with others. And they've always had this say in that covenant that is forbidden.
Forbidden for a woman to lead
Exactly,
men.
forbidden. So anything that a woman will want to take up, it was like covenant. It is not within our culture. And for example, there is one chief, a queen mother that I know in Tamale here. So she's actually a very powerful queen mother, but she's very silent. Actually, because of her inability to get education, because from my interaction with her, she told me that the father couldn't send her to school. So in this case, as at now, this woman is not able to even participate in decision-making processes. If she's going to participate in it, then she has to get someone to represent her. So in this case, nobody knows about her. She's very silent. So there was a time that she told me that I want you to be closer to me so that I can be sharing certain things with you when I have meetings, like political like organizations invite her for meetings, and when she will go sit down without even saying anything because she can't express herself to the language that external people might know. So I just want to say that we have actually like certain practices that impedes women, and especially it's embedded in this our the woman. Some women, and it's fortunate that Alhaji, you have been learned. I think it's because of the education that you have had that is giving you the opportunity to talk against it. But what about others, our fathers who are in the rural communities who don't have access to
These
education?
things, yeah.
Is get that? So they are still
So the
having.
head project will deal with it.
Yeah,
Okay,
so they are still having the.
yeah, Bonifa, your final words on that. I'm far behind time.
Okay, so what I would like to say is that as the head project that we are currently running, we are looking at empowering women and youth to increase their participation and representation in decision making by providing them the opportunities and the funding as well as the capacities that they need. So young people and young women should get themselves involved. They should try to know their place when it comes to decision making so that they can see themselves their voices to be heard. Yes.
Okay. Alaji, finally, I just
Yeah,
have 2 minutes to wrap
want
up.
to say thank you very much,
Yeah.
Matter Inspire, for this opportunity.
Thank
and I
you
want
for
to also
coming.
commend our donor, NOSAC, for the opportunity they have given us to be part of the HEAD project, and to assure the public that we are going to give them the best of the woman, of the Ghanaian woman.
The
We are
best
going
of
to
the
ensure that
Ghanaian women.
by the end of the project, they get the best of the Ghanaian
Anyways,
woman.
how long is the project?
It's a 1 year, it's a 2 years project.
Okay.
It's a 2 years project, but active implementation is within 1 year,
Yeah,
4 months.
Okay, so it means that more, like you have
Yeah,
more
we
communities
There are more
and places
communities.
to
Yes, yeah, there are more communities
I
to
would like
cover.
to come and share what the results of the
Great.
Yes,
project.
yes. So what I'm just saying is that we are going to ensure that by the end of the project, women becomes one of the best choices to go when we are
Yeah.
looking for leadership
When I'm
positions.
contesting to be the president of Ghana, I hope you would vote for me. And I'll not come to the market and you hoot at me, because me, I'll cry. I'll just stand there and cry. But we will get there one day. Hopefully, we get to have a female vice president.
Sure.
But yeah, one day we'll have a female president, and then we have more MPs as women in parliament. And when we have even appointees for governmental positions, how do you call it? DCs,
Yes,
MCs, and then and all of the
Metropolitan Chief Executives.
like all of them. We have more women in, and even with the big government agencies, we have women standing in and setting very global examples for all of us to emulate. It's been amazing bringing you this episode on the Reflection Show, and then I believe that whatever that we have discussed will just go a long way to empower every woman who is watching us, and also to change the narrative and the perspective of men when it comes to supporting women, because women, you can't do without us. We gave birth to you, we cook for you to eat, we take care of you. It's us, it's just women. So let's support each other, let's grow together, and we'll have a wonderful world to live in. I am Martha Inspires. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.